In this video, we will be reviewing the mixed and simple compound probability. So this is your simple probability with one thing happening and your compound probability with two things happening. So let's look at the first example. A pencil bag contains 2 blue pens, 3 green pens, and 4 purple pens. What is the probability that you will choose a green pen? In order to solve this problem, we need to first figure out what the total is. And the total, if you add these together, 2, 3, and 4, would be 9. And then we need to find the probability that you will choose a green pen. So the probability of green is 3 out of 9. And if we simplify that by 3, we are left with 1/3 probability. You try the next one. So in this problem, it says Terry is playing a shape game. In the game, there are 7 triangles, 4 squares, 1 circle. What is the probability she will choose a square? So I want to choose a square. I'm only choosing one thing, so I'm going to have one fraction. I need to know that there are a total of 12, and there's 4 squares out of 12 total shapes, and then I have to simplify by 4, and I'm left with 1/3 probability. Let's do another simple probability problem. Wendy has 30 chickens in her yard and needs to catch one of them to give to a friend. She has 4 black, 8 blue, 11 silver, and 7 white chickens. What is the probability that Wendy will catch a blue or a black chicken? So, probability that Wendy will catch a blue or a black. First thing, we need to know total, which is 30. And I want blue or black. I don't care if they're blue, I don't care if they're black, but I need to know that total probability. So 4 are black and 8 are blue. I don't care which one I get, so I'm going to add them together. 8 plus 4 is 12 out of 30 chickens. Then I can simplify. I know I can simplify by 6 because 6 is a common factor, and I'm left with 2/5 probability. You try the next one. So for this problem, a bucket contains 3 red, 4 green, 5 blue. What's the probability of choosing a red or a green? So I want probability of choosing a red or green. I need to know the total, which they don't tell me, so I need to add them together. 3 plus 4 plus 5 gives you 12. Probability of choosing red is 3 out of 12. I'm sorry, red or green. When you have red or green, I don't care what color they are, so I can either add them together. There's 3 red and 4 green, so there's 7 total. And I can't simplify that one, so it should just be 7/12. Now let's look at some compound probability. Let's talk about compound independent first. Remember, independent events do not do anything to each other. The denominator stays the same. So Will spins a spinner shown below 2 times. What is the probability he will land on 3 and then on 1? So I need to know how many total sections there are, and there are 8 sections if you count them up, and it wants to know the probability of a 3 and then a 1. So there are 3 threes, so 3 out of 8, times the probability of a 1. There are 2 1s, and the denominator stays the same because it's independent. 3 times 2 is 6, 8 times 8 is 64. Divide by 2. I'm left with 3 over 32, which does not simplify. So that's your probability for that one. You try the next one. So Ivan has a cube numbered 1 through 6. He rolls the cube 2 times, so I'm going to have 2 fractions. What is the probability he will roll a 4 and then a 4? There are 6 numbers on a number cube because it says it's numbered 1 through 6. One side is a 4 the first time, one side is a 4 the second time, so I'm left with 1 out of 36 probability. Now let's look at dependent. Dependent is the ones where the denominator needs to be reduced by 1. So each person in a party receives 2 chances to pick a gift from a secret bag. It is known that there are 5 gifts of money, 10 gifts of jewelry, and 15 gift certificates. What is the probability that one person will select a gift certificate and person 2 will select a gift of jewelry? So what probability person 1 will select a gift certificate and person 2 will select jewelry? That's our probability we're dealing with. There's total of 30 items if you add them all together, and there's 2 things that are happening, so I need 2 fractions. There are 30 gifts the first time somebody picks, and there's only going to be 29 the second time somebody picks because it's without replacement. So it says person 1 will select a gift certificate. Well, there are 15 gift certificates, so 15 goes here. And then we have jewelry, and there's 10 gifts of jewelry. So when we multiply this, we are going to get 150 over 870. They end in zeros, so I can divide by 10. And I'm left with 15 over 87. And this can divide by 3. So if I divide this again by 3, I'm left with 5 over 29, which no longer simplifies. So 5/29ths probability for the gift bag. So go ahead, you do the next one. So we have 5 yellow, 3 red, and 7 blue. Probability of randomly selecting a red marble and then a blue without replacement. So I'm not putting it back. There are 2 things happening, and I'm not putting it back. Total, there's 15. So there's 15 the first time I pick, but then I don't put it back, so it drops to 14. And it wants to know the probability of randomly selecting a red the first time, which is 3, and a blue the second time, which is 7. So if we multiply 3 times 7 is 21, 15 times 14 is 210. And I can divide this by 21 to simplify it. And the reason I saw this is because there's a 21 right there. And 21 divided by 21 would be 1, and this would be 10. So there's 1/10 probability of getting a red and followed by a blue.